let's discuss Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yay!
Why don't we? Even though this isn't horror, has some moments that could be seen that way. But really, I want to make this uber quick. It's just one of those like PSAs, like go fucking see it.
It's great.
Right?
It's so fun.
If you get to see it in theaters,
yes,
take the opportunity. You know, you don't always have to sit and watch people chopped up by chainsaws and shit. Like, I know most people are on this channel because all they like is horror. But man,
it's so fun.
This is such a one. Like, I wanted to say when I got out of this that this is why films exist.
Yeah.
Is to make films like this.
Yeah.
This is pure artistic expression, and I always say like this is like a kitchen sink movie, or you know, a fuck it movie, where people are writing it and they just say, you know, fuck it. Like, I'm just gonna put whatever I want, and literally anything that comes into my head. If I want to give fucking people hot dogs for fingers, I'm gonna put it in the movie. If I want buff pinkies, if I want fucking Raccacoonie, if I want all the things that are in this movie, like, just doing it.
Yeah.
And this film genuinely goes for absolute broke, holds nothing back at all. It is about an aging Chinese woman played by Michelle Yeoh, and she has a laundromat with her husband, and their marriage is kind of falling apart, and she doesn't have a great relationship with her daughter, who is trying to come out to her and the family, and she's kind of not accepting it, right? And because of the generational divide and all that stuff, and she's living with her father, who she has a tumultuous relationship with, and she's being you know, audited by the IRS, and so she and her husband and her dad all go to the IRS, and while she's there, she is pulled in to an alternate reality where the multiverse is being threatened by this villain who's going through and crushing the multiverse as they know it, gonna kill everything in sight, and she's the only one that can stop it. And she thinks, like, of course this is fucking insane, but as, you know, she kind of gives into it, she gets to explore her life choices, and she gets to see all the different ways that her life could have went, and all the different lives she could have lived, but this is the one she currently is living in. And throughout that, she gets to experience all the different emotions and all the different connections to family and to failure and success, and what it means to be alive, and to make choices, and to accept people and reject people, and it explores pretty much everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah.
So it's, I'll say this. This is a very rare movie where I will say that if you didn't like the movie, you didn't get the movie.
I agree. I think that it is a very zany and chaotic film in a lot of ways, but there is 100% a message that's being told throughout the film. And I think for me, it's very clear what that is.
Of course.
But when, you know, we saw it in the theater, there were people that were really upset with the movie.
We had a walkout, yeah.
And I just think, yeah, you're not getting it. You're not getting the point. This is like you said, it's, you know, pure artistic expression. And I think that you have to be, you know, able to kind of connect to to emotions and whatnot through art to get what the film is trying to say.
It's an extremely zany, bizarre, childish film.
Yes.
And I think that is where some audiences who are people who are fucking dead inside, who are just like no fun. You know who you are. If you're that kind of person who's like the stick in the mud, you know, you're at a party and you're sitting in the corner and everything is pretentious and lame and stupid to you.
Yeah.
This film is gonna piss you off. You're gonna be like, what in the fuck am I watching? This is like pure fucking like insanity.
Yeah.
That's uberly childish.
Yeah.
Right?
But it's I mean, like, if you can't laugh at yourself, and there's a purpose to it being so ridiculous. You know, it's not just without reason.
No matter how crazy you think this movie is, there will be at least one or two things in it that you were not expecting to be in this movie.
Yes.
Where you will be like, they really went there.
Like, that's happening?
Yes.
Like...
You just... It is. And once it starts, right? So, like, the first 15, 20 minutes of the movie is kind of very traditional, like, older Asian family who can't really get along, and, you know, some stereotypes are going on and whatnot. And then once the sci-fi part of it hits, it goes bonkers, out of control.
It's so
it
wonderful.
Never relents.
Nope.
It never holds back anything. Any concept it goes for, it goes full throttle.
Yes.
It does not even try to be subtle about anything. Everything's in your face.
Yeah.
Everything's dialed to beyond 11 to a fucking 60.
It's so good though. I loved it so much because it's like exploring what it means to be alive. And I have a lot of admiration for films and media that try to do that, because it's like the biggest question for everyone. It's like, what's the point of everything?
This movie should have been called Michelle Yeoh and the Multiverse of Madness.
That would have worked really well.
It is really odd to be getting a Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness like within a month of this movie. Mm-hmm. Because she's like, they're jumping throughout all these different... Now, this kind of does remind me a bit of a show that was on Netflix called Sense8, which is a fantastic show if you haven't watched it. But there's these people that kind of get to connect to each other. There's 8 people who they all get to talk to each other and connect with each other and share each other's abilities. So like one's like a kung fu master, the other one is an actor, the other one is so on and so forth. And so like, you know, if one of them's in trouble and they all have this like joint union of like brotherhood and sisterhood with one another, but it's also sexual because they have like a huge orgy in it, like in their heads. It's a very sexual movie. It's done by the Wachowski. Well, it's actually only done by Lana Wachowski, I think. It's not both the Wachowskis, but it doesn't matter. There's this like, you know, communal sharing of resources and abilities, right? So Michelle Yeoh's character is calling on her different iterations of where her life could have went. So one of her, one of her lives, she makes a choice and she goes down and she becomes like a kung fu master. And then the other one becomes a chef. And she uses all these people's abilities and they're kind of pulled out. But she's also affecting their worlds as well, because she's like taking them out of them. And they're kind of like left there as drones in a way. Yeah. So it's like everything affects everything and nothing matters. Right? There's a lot of messages that you'll get in here. And I think there's something for everybody, right? Like no matter what kind of life you've lived or whatever, we all have regrets and we all have, you know, things that we might be ashamed of or think we should have done differently or whatever. There's something for everybody, I feel, as long as you're open to the zaniness of the film.
Yes.
And I was very touched by a few parts for sure. If you can't get anything out of this film, you're no fucking fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're just not
You're
a fun person. You're a boring fucking person. And you need to rethink your life.
100%.
And I hope this happens to you. Because that's what she is in the movie. And then that's like the point. It's like, that's what's kind of ironic about the movies. The people who aren't getting it are the people like the character when she starts. And they're pulled into this insanity. And she's able to embrace it after a while. Of course, she's rejecting it the whole time. Like, no, this is stupid. And those people are in the theater like, no, this is stupid.
Right.
So they're her. She evolves and they don't.
Yeah.
And we had one person who got up and walked out because she thought it was too violent.
That was crazy.
Violent?
Super early.
This movie is not violent.
No.
It has some violence in it, but
it's
not
like action.
Walkout violence.
No,
It's fucking
yeah.
ridiculous. And her husband had to chase her out. And then, of course, like I said on Facebook the other day, I've never been to an art house film in my entire fucking life that I can remember that when the film ended, someone didn't vocally announce to the theater that was the dumbest fucking movie they've ever seen in their life. It happened with The Northman just the day before. It happened with this one. It happened with The Lodge. It happened with Hereditary. It happened with Midsommar. It happened with The Witch. It happened with the Lighthouse.
It goes
It happened
on
with
and on.
every one of them I've ever seen. That's like this. The Babadook, the fucking It Follows. Any of those like films that don't follow that traditional.
Yeah.
You know, so there's always at least one person in the theater that has to, oh god, that was fucking stupid, or oh, that was the dumbest fucking movie I've ever seen in my life.
They just want to say that because they don't get it, and they're like, I gotta like protect my ego.
The Green Knight.
Oh my God.
Every fucking one. You know, It Comes at Night. I can go on and on. Every one of them. I can remember the person specifically too in my head. I remember where they were sitting, and I remember the way they said it, and I can never get it out of my mind because it's like the first thing I hear as soon as the movie's over.
Such a shame.
And I was waiting for it because I made that comment right before we went.
Yeah.
And I was like waiting. As soon as the movie ended, I like perked my ears up, and the guy right next to me was like, "That was the dumbest fucking movie."
Oh my god.
And I was like, "There he is.
There's the
There he is."
guy.
So he's fucking boring, and his girlfriend should leave him. I wanted to look over and be like, "You can do better. You can do better. In another life, you're doing better."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? You have
Connect
a
with
fun
her
boyfriend.
and let her know that you are with a fucking stick in the mud.
Oh my gosh. I love
He was
that.
checking his phone every 5 minutes throughout the movie.
so
and I was like,
awful.
God, you have no fucking fun in you, do you?
No. I was gonna say that I really love sci-fi movies and just movies in general that explore the whole alternate timelines or parallel universes.
You know what film this reminded me of? Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. A little bit. Where you're just kind of exploring, like, insanity the whole
Right,
film.
yeah.
Right. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, I was just going to say I really like that, and I think that it's kind of one of the newer, like, sci-fi type concepts that I think are popping up into films. Like, obviously, you mentioned Doctor Strange, and, you know, there's other stuff in the Marvel universe that explores that. Plus,
Sure.
we've been watching Russian Doll. So I just think it's cool. I think that you can play around with it a lot, and it's definitely, like, a concept that I feel is, like, extremely likely and probable that there's other versions of us in other universes.
There's places where
running
people have hot
around.
dogs for fingers.
I mean, because that's the thing, right? Anything is possible. So in some universe, the conditions for life made that happen, and I hope I never have to go to that universe because that was the grossest thing ever when they're like,
Alright, no spoilers. Go see the movie.
Go see
Have
it.
fun. If you don't like it, you are fucking boring. Bye.
bye!